becoming something else. But right here on this show, we bring you solutions every week to see how we can help every Nigerian, no matter where you're from, no matter where you are, to solve this power problem. Solve it once and for all. And the alternative solutions, and we bring them every week. Today, we've come with another interesting conversation to share with you how we turn waste and other products to power. We're discussing biomass today. Biomass as an alternative power solutions. Interesting. All right. If you're just joining in this Power Solutions, my name is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, and I have amazing guests here today, to help me make sense of all of this, help us understand what this means, how do we do it. A lot we can unpack in this conversation. Our topic today is biomass as an alternative source of energy. And I have with me today Paul. Paul Ezima is an electrical engineer, and he is sort of an expert around biomass energy. And I have my friend, brother, and colleague, Sominabo Horsfall, who is an investment as operations advisor at All On. He'll be helping us make sense out of the whole technicality around this. And Paul is on the line, and he'll be helping us to understand what biomass really is. Paul, if you can hear, please can we bring Paul on? If you can hear us. Hello, Paul.
How are you? Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Great to have you on the show.
I am amazing. Thank you for doing this with us today.
Thank you.
All right. In the studio, as I said, I have my friend and brother, Sominabo Horsfall. Somina?
Oh, hi. Hi, Wisdom.
Hi, good to have you. You guys will be very interested to hear Somina share some of his insights. He's an expert around renewable energy, solar, technology, and he has done amazing work around this over time. Just to give a background, guys, if you're listening, biomass is a renewable energy source used passively in Nigeria. And for all you know, Nigeria is very rich in biomass resources. And I wonder why we don't use them. I don't know. Things like wood, forest waste, our waste in our house, food waste and everything, agricultural waste, there are a lot of it, aquatic biomass, everything. There's so much we can be using to make and turn to energy. And I wonder why we don't do it. Today, we'll try to learn from these two gentlemen with me who will be making sense out of it. So, Paul, I'm going to go to you now this morning. Give us a background on what biomass as a renewable energy is all about.
Oh, all right, Wisdom. Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. Okay, so first of all, biomass is simply an act of generating electrical energy from organic materials. Like you said, agricultural byproducts, waste products from your homes, from industries, and etc. This is putting in a structure in place to, generate power with these waste products. That's basically what biomass is all about.
Okay. So how come, before the show, I tried to talk to a few persons if they understand what biomass is, but it seems not to be as popular, or people don't even know that the waste they generate from their homes can turn to power. So why do you think we have this issue?
Oh, well, I think for me, it would be lack of awareness and sensitization on this aspect of power generation. In Nigeria, largely, what we know is, natural gas. We hear about oil pipelines being, vandalized by the Niger Delta people. And, basically hydro, we hear of Kainji Dam and, the other dams in Nigeria that are mainly used for power generation. We never utilize, the biomass sector, like you rightly said, it's passively, in use in Nigeria. So I think that there is little or no awareness with respect to biomass in Nigeria.
Interesting. We hope here we can try to do this more often to create that awareness. Sominabo, you do a lot of solar power installations, and I mean you work around the whole technicality around solar power and all of that. Can you help us? Why is solar mass a little bit passively used, and we hear more of solar?
So like Paul had said earlier, right? It's first about sensitization.
Okay.
Most people do not really know about biomass, and they don't understand that they can convert their waste into power, right? For a solar system, everybody knows the sun. Everybody knows, oh, there's power from the sun. You could convert that to electricity and all of that. And I think the solar industry has done a lot of sensitization. However, the biomass industry is still yet to pick up. And then there's a safety point of view where you would say setting up a solar system is kind of safer than setting up a biomass in a regular home, right? Because setting up biomass, you need some infrastructure in place to ensure that even your home is safe. Imagine using your waste, your dung, your septic tank, converting it to waste, right? Converting it to power. There are some risks, there are some safety risks involved with those.
Okay.
Right? So that angle of safety as well is also very important, and I think that's why Nigeria hasn't looked to biomass as much as they have looked to solar. Solar brings some form of safety, and then again the sun is everywhere, right? And everybody already knows this, that you get power from the sun.
Okay. Paul, do you share this view? Because we know part of how we can generate biomass, we can also get it from our food, everyday waste. So is there a safety issue around using biomass as compared to solar? Sominabo is trying to.
Yeah, I agree with
Sominabo.
I agree with him. Yeah. Sominabo, yeah. I agree with Sominabo in that regard, because for you to, convert your waste like on a smaller scale in your homes to power, like to light up your electric bulbs and maybe your ceiling fans and all of that, there has to be a process, right? So safety is something that we should not even downplay in that regard. It has to do with gases. If it is food, there are some pyrolysis involved, and certain times you need to emit some gases, right? So it's safety is paramount in that regard. I agree with him.
Interesting. Sometime on the show last year, we had a guest. He's the CEO and founder of Think Electric, and he's one of the grantees from the incubation program with the All On Hub, and they had created an entire technology with IoT to monitor how they turn this waste to power. Sominabo. So, but I want to ask now, so if we are able to get such technology, I don't know, maybe Paul will let us know if we have any at the moment, but I want to ask you, Sominabo, if we have some of this technology, are we going to solve the issues and concern around that safety you talked about and how to make it easy? And where I'm trying to go with the question is, would that increase the awareness, or what can we do comparing to solar?
Again, right, a solar system is a pretty straightforward infrastructure. Right?
Okay.
You get your panels, you get your batteries, you get your inverter, and you're fine.
Okay.
Generating biomass and converting that waste to power, it's bigger. The components required are a little more complex than just a standard installation, right? If Nigeria was to do this on a larger scale, taking the whole waste we have in the country or we have in the states, then that's better. That's a different conversation, right? The government can afford it.
Okay.
Right. But if you're saying for a standalone home now with solar equipment, you can get it cheap in the market, right? A couple dollars and you're fine, a couple naira, and you have it set up in your house. But for biomass, you need to, it's more expensive.
Okay.
And then minus even the
it's more expensive compared to solar.
Expensive, yes.
Okay.
And then even the safety, even taking away the safety, even setting up the appliances and the apparatus, the equipment you require, you just can't set that up in a regular home.
Okay.
I have a baby boy, right? I have a solar system in my house and I have a baby. He plays around the equipment a couple of times. Obviously, it's not very healthy,
Mm-hmm.
but imagine him playing around the biomass infrastructure. That's way more dangerous than it is.
Okay.
So
Okay.
again, in as much as we would like sensitization, but for it to be able to help solve the power problems, right, it has to be on a larger scale,
Okay.
not just a standalone home.
Oh, okay. Okay. Paul, you heard what he said, but I want to ask you now, are there technologies that have simplified this whole biomass for us to use? Because I know that there's a vast way we can generate this biomass sources. For example, palm kernel shells are an excellent biofuel that can be used. And it's around the south west states or the southern states, we have enough of this. But tell us, are there ways we can simplify, how we can generate power from biomass?
Okay, so to be honest, Somina is doing like justice in what he's saying. He's saying some things that make like a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
And the truth is, for you to generate power with biomass, it has to be on a large scale, more like from 100 megawatts safely, right? So it gives you like that stability in power.
Okay.
You understand? Like on a larger scale, it's very doable. On a smaller scale, yeah, there are companies who have solutions. I know of a company in France that, has put up this, from proper food waste, and they generate power to homes. But you can't compare the technology and the safety procedures in France with that of what we have here in Nigeria. So we can't dabble into that right now. And, a lot of sensitization hasn't been done yet. So it wouldn't be advisable to do that. But on a larger scale, yes, we can generate power from biomass safely on a larger scale.
Interesting. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Power Solutions. My name is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo. Power Solutions is sponsored by All On in partnership with Nigeria Info, your number one talk station. And we have been discussing biomass as an alternative source of energy. I know we hear a lot about solar, but we need to know that solar is just one source, and there are other sources of renewable energy, and biomass is one of it. Though we don't use it a lot, but there are different technologies coming up every day to help us enhance the use of biomass. What we are discussing today is trying to unpack what biomass really means, and different solutions that are available for us to use, and how we can build more awareness around it. The waste from your kitchen, the waste from your food. I even heard physics, can also be converted for power. Just before the show today, I was watching Sominabo, how someone is converting tires. And we can get power from that. But the question I want to ask now, around all of these issues we have raised around biomass, is still a very reliable source of energy because it is sustainable. But I want to ask, we hear a lot of investments around solar every now and then, but we hardly hear much investment around biomass. From your experience, what do you think is the issue? Is it that biomass is still not viable for more investment, and everybody's just pushing to solar? Or what do you think is the issue around that?
So the issue around why you don't hear much investments in biomass as you hear in solar, I think it comes down to about three things.
Okay.
One is, again, awareness. Right?
Okay.
A lot of people do not know it's available. A lot of people do not know what can come out of it. A lot of people don't even know they can use their waste at home, and like you said, even the feces and everything, and generate it. Right. The second thing here is the equipment, the infrastructure.
Okay.
Back in the day, solar systems used to be very large.
Okay.
Right. And right now, the solar system is so small. In fact, they have very small home systems that are the size of a laptop.
Okay.
Right. They're the size of a rechargeable lantern.
Okay.
So the infrastructure is still very large. if the biomass industry is able to get it right and be able to simplify that infrastructure, that equipment, to make it as small as and compact, easy to install like a solar system, then you'd have more people look to invest in it.
Okay.
Right. And then obviously the third thing, which is the safety part, which I pointed out earlier, is again, biomass makes sense in larger quantities, in a large scale.
Okay.
Right. If you want to do it in a very small scale, you have to ensure it's very safe.
Okay.
You have to ensure you have enough waste to be able to provide power to even your home.
Okay.
How much waste do you dispute in your house?
A lot of
Right,
waste.
yeah, but you need enough, because even the conversion rate, right? The conversion of the amount of waste to power, it's about 10-15 cents to put it from factory people's homes. Then being able to raise investment or being able to raise funds to support that industry, I think it's going to take a while.
Interesting. I mean, I can imagine our listeners have a few questions they want to ask, and maybe we can take one or two questions. If you want to call in to ask a question, maybe you have a question you want to ask around this biomass. Maybe that will help make more sense to our listeners. If this is something that they'll be interested in. We create a lot of waste from our homes, and if there's an opportunity for us to turn those waste to power, I keep remembering that our guarantee from the All On Hub and the incubation program Think Electric, and I've been preparing for this program today. I keep remembering if you want to watch our conversation with Think Electric, you can go on the All On YouTube channel, All On TV, All On Energy TV on YouTube, and you can find that conversation. I think you should scroll down some of the videos. It's an old one to watch it. I mean, a whole lot. I mean, the technology he presented, and it makes me remember what you're saying now, that we need to do it on a certain scale, and but there was a simplified method he did that. I need to go back to that again. So if you want to learn more about biomass, you have a question, maybe you can call in and let us take your question and answer. If you want to send us WhatsApp messages too, you can do that, and we can take your WhatsApp messages. Paul,
Yeah.
my next question to you is, so now investment around biomass is needed, but anybody listening will have players probably who have been doing something around biomass, who all they need is an investment or some form of funding. Do you have idea how they can achieve this?
I speak with a lot of foreign companies.
We can hear you, Paul. Can you speak closer to
Can you
your
hear
phone?
me clearly now?
Yes, you can hear you now. Go on.
Okay. So I speak a lot with some foreign companies that are already into this. I have a company that I'm speaking with in Indonesia that already uses this, to generate power in their country, and they are looking for, some sort of partnership. They are ready to come to Nigeria if, the partnership is good, and the government support is also incredible. So they are willing to come and discuss the possibility of partnership with anybody who would be interested in investing.
But do you think government gives enough support around biomass in Nigeria?
Well, yeah. The truth is it is going to be an explosive, sector if government considers it. Government is already big on renewable energy. We are in an era where we are looking at reducing, poisonous gases into the atmosphere, and reducing endangering lives and properties and all of that. So why not? The government is massively in support of renewable energy, and this is a form of renewable energy. So the support is there from the government.
Interesting, and I'm praying and I'm hoping that we'll achieve this in the long run. Sominabo, there's a lot of support now for solar, and we have seen the cost of solar dropping, unlike what it used to be before. And like you mentioned before, they have been simplified. They have the smaller ones. I mean, even there are small radio boxes now that carry, that you can charge your phone. They have a small panel. Having this conversation with some of our grantees in the hub, from the incubation program, the ideation stage programs. I mean, so many brilliant ideas that I see in the next 5 years what would have achieved with alternative source through renewable energy like solar. But what do you see? You work in this field. You are let me put it, Oga Pata Pata in this field, and you guys are the experts. You go to the field to work, to supervise some of this project. What do you see in the next 5 years with solar?
So in the next 5 years, right, I think with the government support, even the United Nations and all the supports available to grow the renewable energy space, right, I see the solar industry getting to a scale where we're able to provide power to Nigerians using not just the hydropower. Now we're going to have systems that are just going to, and villages. We have some of them already by building mini grids, but I think we are going to have more mini grids and larger grid systems that are going to power communities, power states if possible, right, with solar. For biomass, it's still a starting technology. I think it is a starting technology, especially in Nigeria.
Okay.
So in the next 5 years, I think biomass in the next 5 years will be where solar is today.
Okay.
So by then we would have the conversation around biomass as a source of energy would have grown.
Okay.
The awareness would have been there. The support would have started coming in. So by the time the solar systems in the next 5 years are becoming the mini grids, sustainable power, providing power to communities and all, biomass will now be that startup and backup. Okay. So that as we move fully away from fossil fuels, we are beginning to embrace renewables completely.
But anybody listening now, where do you think they can start? Who is interested to go into biomass technology, who sees opportunity in it? Do you have idea how they can start?
Again, right, I'm more concerned about the safety around it before advising people to go start on this. Okay. Right. If not, what I would have said is, why? You have a lot of waste. You could come around, even in your streets, right? Gather the waste in your streets and then use that to be able to generate power, even if just for your home or for your streets. Okay. But like I said, I'm more concerned around the safety. We need more work done in this field so that if people start to take it up, they do it more safely. Because you wouldn't want people's houses going up in flames where they're trying to generate their own. Again, the power supply has been very epileptic. Let's tell the truth. So once people see a means where they can generate their own power, they are open to it. So I think the idea is, let's even get more work done in this field, just so that when people start to go into it, they do it in a safe way, and then they don't just go lose all their properties where they're trying to generate power.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense, and we'll keep having the conversation, and hoping that we'll create that awareness and draw people more knowledge to this. I keep remembering Think Electric, and there's another company in the All On Hub. I've been on the show before. I think that's Power Stove. Power Stove. If you check them out today, another company that's doing amazing work. All right, thank you so much. There's no time, and the more we keep talking, time going, and we have the news coming up next. But if you've been listening, this is Power Solutions. It's sponsored by All On, in partnership with Nigeria Info, your number one talk stations. And we'll be back again next Monday at 11:30 to bring you more conversation. Thank you, Sominabo. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nigeria. All right.